The world won't understand you. Hey, but it's okay. Said the world won't understand you. Cause I made you in my own way. Said the world won't understand you. Cause I made you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 130 of In a Good Way podcast. Today's special guest is Naila Ma'at. Naila Ma'at also does music. She's also a hip-hop artist, and she goes by the name Queen Star. Naila was my guest on episode 24, so she was one of my first guests, so it's an honor to have her back here once again.
I am happy to be back. Thank you so much, Omar, for having me back. It was a pleasure. I had so much fun during our first interview, so I'm excited to be here again.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like I said, I wanted to catch up with you again. I know before, even me, when I was looking into angel numbers and everything, I came across your channel. And how has it been going with that? Are you still doing the angel numbers? Have you had any new revelations along that line, or how has your spiritual walk been going since then?
Yes, I still see angel numbers or repeating numbers on a daily basis, pretty much. And I'm just, I'm not as, before when I first started my journey, I was like, ooh, angel numbers, there's one. But now it's just like, now it's kind of a normal thing. I've more normalized it now, I guess. But when I see them, I just, take it in and just think of what message my angels are trying to, convey to me at that moment, or whatever I'm thinking about, at that moment. I see what that message could be in relation to that, because it's always about something that you may be thinking about, pondering on, and then you see, like, let's say 222. For example, and that's like a sign to have more faith and trust in the universe. And so that's still like a part of my life, very much so, yeah. And a
Wow.
part of my spiritual journey. Mm-hmm.
That's funny that you mentioned that one, because I was doing a video earlier, and I don't know why it ended up that it was 222. Why was 2222? And I was like, huh. It jumped out at me, so I was like, but I don't think I had ever heard that about it, having more trust in the universe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I started seeing twos a lot. Like, twos started coming to me like very frequently within this past year. And I would say because I was going through like maybe challenges in my life, and I was, looking it up and seeing what it means. And twos are assigned to have faith because, they can represent faith. It's also, it represents like cooperation, working together, like partnership and things like that. And if you see like 222, when you add those together, the overall number is 6, which is like home and family. So I was seeing a lot of 222 and like the 2s times 4.
Ah.
Yeah, so.
And it's funny you mentioned, because that's what happened. It's so funny because the whole last year too, I kept seeing two everywhere, license plates, clocks, and anything. I pick up my tablet and boom, it's 222.
Like,
that what was that?
I said I still see it all the time.
Yeah. So I figured it was like partnerships, because I was trying to work with more people with the music, right? More collabs. I was trying to do more interviews. But then it was like if things were getting shut down. So after I felt like it was me in a partnership more with the spirit world, because then I felt more guided by the spirit world. And I'm like, oh, okay. So this is I'm not alone. It was just not how I thought, right? Like, it was like I was looking for people here to work with and this and that, but it was like the spirit world, and I did, right? That was my new partnership. So that's cool. I like that. That's what it means,
That's
so.
a good correlation to make, yeah.
Yeah,
With
absolutely.
spirit world as well,
Absolutely, yeah, because I would have never thought that.
Bring forth, manifest more, good in the world,
Absolutely. So, also, how has your walk been with? Because I know I still haven't really looked into, like, I know you had studied like Kemet. Is that how you say it? Kemet or Kemet?
Kemet,
Okay,
ancient
yeah,
Kemet.
yeah. And how has your like? Is there any, because that's like a kind of, it goes back a lot, right? So there's a lot to learn with that. So how has your walk been with that study, or have you kind of left it to the side?
Um, I would say that I'm still, into learning about Kemet and things like that. Ancient Egypt is, the modern term for Kemet. And I'm very fascinated about ancient Egypt because I believe, like, I don't know, I feel tied to it some way, some way, shape, or form. I don't have, like, set in stone knowledge that I have a bloodline there or whatnot, but I guess just coming from like a Christian background, and doing my time, reading the Bible and stuff like that, and just reading through the passages in the Bible and whatnot, just awakened that curiosity in me to learn more about, ancient Egypt, and Kemet, So, but I also am like into studying things like Atlantis, and like just more ancient civilizations and things. I don't know all about it, but I do like to, delve into that, very often.
No, no, I'm really happy that you mentioned that because, well, let me ask you this: have you ever looked into any past life stuff, or I mean, do you delve into that? Have you had any dreams about that kind of stuff, or because I don't think we talked about it last time. So,
Not necessarily, but I will say that that's where I get my name Ma'at from, because I studied like the ancient Egypt or Kemetic pantheon, of, gods and goddesses. And Ma'at, she is the goddess of justice, truth, um, what is it? Justice, truth, compassion, and back then when I, gave, myself this name, um, it was around the time where we were seeing a lot of, police brutality and, social injustice against, people of color. And I wanted justice, for our
absolutely,
people. And
absolutely.
so, and I started learning about all this stuff, around that time. And so I really like gravitated towards the name Ma'at for that reason, because it's mainly about justice and truth. And I was also, really seeking the truth because I felt like, coming up in a Christian household, we don't fully learn what the truth is. Like, they give us a story, a narrative, but then there's like missing pieces and, unanswered questions and, things that, don't really feel feel that, I don't know, I guess thirst or hunger for the knowledge or the truth. So that's another reason why, I gravitated towards the goddess Ma'at and, gave adopted that name of Naila Ma'at.
Absolutely. So did you feel that maybe there was a connection with her from a past life or something like that? Was it speaking to your soul? Or
I would say it spoke to my soul, but I don't know about the past life, because I don't really have those. I guess I don't have those types of dreams or visions and things. My third eye isn't awakened that much to where I see that type of stuff. So, but yeah, and that correlation to where like a soul urge to, crave more justice, and I wanted to call in the goddess Ma'at, you
mm,
know.
I feel like you'll get to that point eventually. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I had something really interesting. Like I started seeing those things and I was like, and it felt so real that I know it was like if I was there, right? A lot of ancient temples, right? Like if I was, and I kept seeing, and both, right? It felt like I was in temples in ancient Egypt, temples here with like the Mayan pyramids or Aztec pyramids, whatever. Like, and I would see these hieroglyphics that felt like they were more ancient than all the stuff. Like if almost these the hieroglyphics that we see now are like a simplified version of the real ancient ones, right? So I was in this, and the lighting was like, you could tell I was under something, and there was like almost like you know how they show people with the virtual glasses? You
Yeah.
know, yeah, like that. Like you could walk through it, and it was almost like I didn't want to open my eyes because I was like, I don't want to. But it was like if I could in real time look, and I was like reading, and I was seeing all this, so I wanted to delve more into that. And I
Yeah.
haven't never been someone that really studied Atlantis, and there was even something about Atlantis in these things, and I was like, oh wow, maybe I'm supposed to start trying to learn about Atlantis. So let me ask you then, like, what kind of things have interested you about Atlantis, or what have you learned about this civilization?
Um, I would say like I believe Atlantis came before like, even like, ancient Egypt. And I don't feel like I'm well versed on Atlantis. I think I do have a lot more studying to do to be able to talk on it. But it is very interesting. And even learning about things like, I guess, extraterrestrials and things of that nature, to where like, you know, it's more to like human beings than what we're led to believe. Like, um, we may even be more along the extraterrestrial type of, I guess, ordeal. I'm searching for words.
No, no, yeah,
Basically.
yeah. But I mean, you don't have to like feel free to say any like nothing like at this point, from where we started like back then, when I interviewed episode 24 to now, like we've covered everything about all that stuff, right? So there's nothing like you won't be judged by anything you say here for sure, whether like I know there's some people that don't believe in certain things, and it's fine. Um for the most part, I think that's what has been good is that I think like even my experience, I really don't talk about things that I haven't experienced. I think I would be the same. I wouldn't believe things if I hadn't experienced them, right? But I have experienced things all across the board. So at this point, it's like I'm not trying to win no converts. I'm not trying to start a religion. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to get tithes, nothing. I just want to share the knowledge that what I learned, right? And that's kind of what leads me. So that's why I was curious, like I feel something led you to even study Atlantis. Like something's barely leading me now to start. Okay, you've learned all this stuff. Now let's start looking into Atlantis. Why did it come to me in some kind of vision and this and that? Right? Like why? So that's why I asked you because I was like, okay, if you had an interest in Atlantis, it called to you for some reason. So there's something there. You know what I mean? So that's why. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I would say that really comes from like different spiritual teachers that I like to follow or listen to or learn from. Um, I would say like my thirst for the truth and knowledge led me to like learning more about ancient Egypt. My husband, he also has ties in ancient Egypt. He knows that his bloodline is from Egypt, and so he taught me more about how we're gods and goddesses and things of that nature. Um, and just basically how Africa is like the motherland. That's where the that's where human beings were started, is in Africa. And so where it comes from, because like I don't know, people of color, people over in America, we're made to believe that we're less than, we're treated like we're less than, we're looked down on upon. And for me, just learning those things about ancient Africa or Egypt and um, even Atlantis and things, to know that those people were people of color as well, and those are people who are powerful people who are divine. It it raises me up to know that I'm great, and know that I'm not how people try to make us look, maybe in the media, or make us look like we're dumb or uneducated, or um what's another word I'm looking for? Doesn't really matter, because that's not who we are, right? So but just to like, I want to tell people or teach people who look like me or look like you, that, we're great and we are, divine, beings, and we're here to do, powerful things and to create, So that's one of
Absolutely.
the reasons why, I want to visit, Egypt, because I want to see like the pyramids and all the hieroglyphs and all that stuff. I want to like feel it because I feel like once I get there, I will feel the energy, So I want to like experience that. So that's like on my bucket list to travel to Egypt one day.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to go as well. It's funny, like when I was little, I went to the Sun Pyramid in in Mexico, right? It was like the ancient city where, like to the Aztecs, they believe that's where the universe started, right? Like the right there, right? And something like in me just, I had to climb to the very top of this Sun Pyramid, and later it came back around in my life, like the first book I wrote, right? It was like I had a connection with that pyramid, right? So it's a beautiful thing when, something calls to you and then there was a connection, right? So that something made something, my parents did it because it's such a steep pyramid. Like my parents didn't even climb it. They stood at the bottom and then me and my brothers, we climbed to the top of the pyramid, So it was funny. We had to do it. And then later on to find out in life why, right? Like so there is there's something there, right? Maybe that's what it takes sometimes to unlock something, right? It's almost like something saying, "Hey, we've been waiting for you. Like, what took you so long?" you know, like there's energies, there's It's almost like all that stuff is stored in your DNA, and once we take those steps, it unlocks, right? Like
Exactly.
that's kind of like it's not just about, oh, I'm gonna sit here and universe show me, that's it, because whatever, I'm throwing a tantrum. If you don't show me, I don't care. I don't believe in you. Sometimes it's more like we have to take those steps. And once we start taking those steps, then the universe is like, oh, okay, you're ready for more? Okay, here. So, yeah. Hopefully you do get to make that trip. I would love to go to Egypt as well. I would love to know, you know who Billy Carson is?
Yes.
Yeah, like I see he has those trips to Egypt. I know it's a little, well, for me, right? It feels like a little pricey, but I would like to go with a guide, right? Someone that's like him. It looks like he's been there quite a few times. And how do you feel about him? Do you listen to Billy Carson or?
Yes. We listen to him a lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Yeah. I even reached out to him once to interview him, but obviously, he's like probably doesn't even read the emails, right? I'm sure someone goes to him like, nah, this podcast is too small for us. Let's,
One day. One
Yeah,
day.
yeah. It doesn't stop me from trying. I'll still like see, like you said, I don't feel small like in that way, but it was like I'm sure someone probably, you know what I mean? Like, or maybe they didn't even see it, right? It got lost in probably thousands of emails he's getting or something, you know what I mean? But
True.
yeah, but I did reach out. So no, well, go ahead. Yeah, I'm sure I interrupted you a few times. So, like, what else has your spiritual walk been like? Like, I know you see the angel numbers. They talk to you. Like you said, you haven't really dreamed about past lives, but do you dream about other things or anything that stands out to you?
See, the funny thing about me is I don't feel like I dream.
Oh,
like I don't, I don't dream. So it's like I want to, and that's why, I, was so focused on like opening the third eye, that type of stuff. And trying to cleanse your system and, meditate and things of that nature. And that's like become a part of my lifestyle. But, you know, now I'm more so like, I'm not gonna force it. You know what I'm saying? If it's meant to be, it will be. Um, and also just, hearing stories from other people who have like opened or awakened their third eye. It's a rush of things that maybe they might not be prepared for that they may start to see. So that's why, I feel like it'll come when it comes. Like if you start to see certain things or dream about certain things, it will come when it comes or when it's supposed to come, when it's supposed to be revealed to you, you will, get that message or get that insight. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's kind of the advice I've given to people like in spiritual groups where they're like, "Oh, I wanna," and I always say like, "Oh," because that's even happened to me, right? Like, I don't know if we talked about it last time, but like, for example, like, when my brother passed away, right? Since it was a traumatic event, it was like everything opened up for me. There was no veil, right? Because I wanted to connect with him. So during that time, it was like there was no veil. I was as open as whatever, like Buddha himself or whoever you've heard of, whatever. Like there was nothing kept from me in that sense, like spiritually, right? And I kind of started, for example, once it was like I was just in the shower, and water, we come to this earth through water, through the womb. So water is the
Right.
portal, right? Water is like the ultimate portal that we even come into this existence, right? So it made sense that I was in the shower and it was like I just started seeing all these realities like think about having like almost in the Matrix when they I don't know, have you ever seen the Matrix?
Yes.
I don't know what part where they're showing them like all his lives kind of thing. And it was like if I saw that in my head and I dropped to my face and I was like, it lasted over a minute. I was just like, take it away, take it away. I was like praying, take it. Yeah. So imagine that. Like it was almost like I thought it wasn't gonna end. So I was like, oh, like I'm gonna end up in a nut house or something. So it really is like now I don't mind. Like whatever I see, I don't mind. But at that moment I wasn't ready and I had already experienced so many things and I just it hit me out of nowhere. So that's why it's like, I just say, hey, like the way your frame of mind is perfect. Like, yeah, when it comes, it comes, and I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. You know, uh,
Another thing I wanted to touch on was the angel number 777, because
hmm,
I remember you asking about that in our last interview, and I never got around to answering.
okay, okay, for sure.
Yeah, so when you see sevens or 777, or however many sevens, sevens is a sign from the universe that you are winning. You are a winner. So it's like when you see, for example, like the jackpot, you know, you see 777, you hit the jackpot, right? So that's a sign from the universe that you're a winner and you're winning. Sevens are also a very spiritual number. So that it's a sign to seek more spiritual knowledge, more esoteric knowledge, seek higher knowledge. And if you're on that path, that's a sign that you're beginning to awaken to that. You're awakening yourself to the higher knowledge, the more spiritual or esoteric knowledge that, is not, known by the masses. So
Absolutely. Oh no, thank you so much. I love that. So let me ask you, since you brought up the 777, do you have any insight into 666? Because that one's always funny to see. Because sometimes I feel like, oh, everything's good, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing 666, and I'm like, okay, I don't know how to take it sometimes. So how do you feel about the 666?
yes. So growing up in a Christian household, or in Christianity, 666 is the mark of the beast. It's basically the devil's number, right? But in spirituality, or in angel numbers, um, there really isn't like a bad number, because it's
Mm.
astrology, you know. So sixes represent home and family. It represents love, compassion. Um, those are a few words that's coming to mind, but mainly home and family. Also, like sometimes, how like the six, has that hump, you know.
Oh.
Sometimes that can mean that a woman is soon to become pregnant if a woman keeps seeing sixes,
Hmm.
because it's a number that represents family. So that's you know it's a way to look at it. You can um, that is a way to look at it, as if you're a woman, you may become pregnant soon. Um, I would say that that is kind of true in my life, because maybe a couple years ago I would see sixes a lot, on license plates, or I'd be like, let's say at the dentist or something, and then there's a car that has a license plate that's 666, and then like a few months later, maybe a year or so later, I had a baby girl.
Oh
So
wow. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So okay, so in my case, it doesn't mean I'm about to be pregnant, but I like
Right.
I like the family thing. That makes sense because I
Yes.
didn't get an. I was like, well, why am I seeing it now? Because I have seen it where it was almost like a warning, and I was like, okay, because they knew that I could relate it to the Bible, the biblical thing. So I was like, okay, that meant they were warning me about something. It'll be like, for example, I saw 666, and within minutes, someone called me that to me. They were like 666. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh wow. And I didn't even answer. I was like, okay, that made sense. Like they were warning me this person was about like, okay, so like, yeah, let me stay away from this person. And that's happened multiple times. But in this case, it wasn't like that, right? So I was like, why am I seeing it now? Like, what is this about? So yeah, no, thank you for clarifying that. Um, let me ask you then about like the doing the music now. So has that been a more because before I know you said you had already done maybe a few songs, right? But you weren't really too much into it. Have you now you're go ahead,
I've
go.
um, I've been doing music since about 2013,
Oh,
2014.
okay.
And a couple of years ago, I finished up my first project. It's called Discovery. So
Oh.
Discovery is basically like the soundtrack to like your elevation. It's the soundtrack to discovering your higher self. So my lead single is called Bye Pie, and it's basically kind of like a girl's anthem or like a queen's anthem, and it's very uplifting, empowering. Um, a very uplifting and empowering song. And I feel like the whole album is pretty much that, just me um, speaking on like different lessons I've learned about, um, who I am as a divine being, and just basically uplifting and encouraging people to know that you are greatness,
Mm.
know that you are worthy, know that you are abundant, you are, magnificent, you have the power to, manifest your dreams and create anything that you want in this life. So that's what Discovery is.
Yeah, yeah. So when did you release that?
So that was released in 2017.
Oh, okay. Okay. You didn't mention it. Did you mention it in the interview or no? Or we
Did I
didn't
say
really
20? No, not 2017. What year are we in? 2024?
2024?
So that was in 2020. Sorry,
Oh,
2020.
20.
So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Did you mention it though or
I mentioned it no, because I was more so focused on like, the spiritual stuff and, you know, just speaking on the angel numbers because I that's what the interview was about. So I wasn't trying to, go too much into like other things, or I didn't feel like, I didn't want to just be like plugging myself on
ah
your podcast, But I did speak about it a little bit, I think, or I talked about your music because I know I heard a song when I was, looking at your YouTube channel a while back, back then, and I know I heard some of your music, and I was like, I said something to you about that, didn't I?
oh yeah, 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 yeah. That's right. That's right. Um not to put you on the spot, but is there a verse that really that you just love that you did something that stands out like a verse that you have that like a really like something that you want to share because just being a music person I want to hear like a
You
verse
want
that
me
stands out to you.
to? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is the first verse off of my lead single, Vibe High.
Hmm.
I said, this life is a test. Give my best, nothing less. What you give is what you get. So I'm dressed to impress, done away with the stress. Man, I used to obsess, put my thoughts in check. Now I'm headed for the crest. Transcending my past, I'm on some new shh. Step into my new life, boss movement, transformation underway, improvement. Put my truth up in these bars, translucent. It's therapeutic. I'm healing, but the journey just beginning. Expand my limits, put what my intuition revealing. Started with the decision to act upon my vision. I'm on a mission. This is what the game is missing. Slide up in like a piston that cause a major shift. And enterprises and winners is who I'm hanging with. Know where I'm going, but where I'm from, I won't forget. If you're ambitious, the limit to you represent.
Wow, I love it. If I had one of those, like when they do the horn thing, wow, 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 you know, like the DJs when they do the thing. Wow, that was really good, really good. I love it. Yeah, that was you know, lyrical. So it wasn't just like, you know, and I like your the cadence. The cadence. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna listen. What's that song called?
That is called Vibe High.
Vibe High.
And Discovery is on all streaming platforms, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, it's on all streaming platforms. You can also find it here on YouTube. Just uh, search Queen Star Discovery or Queen Star Vibe High, and it should pop up for you.
Okay, cool. And are you working on any new projects or?
Yes, I am working on my second album. It's not complete. I'm still crafting it and everything. It's coming
Okay.
along.
Oh, nice, nice. So, are you making the beats? Do you make beats too, or you got like, does your husband make beats, or because he does music as well, right? I remember you told me he raps too, right?
Right. So we did
Okay.
talk about that
Yeah,
last
yeah,
time.
yeah. Okay. Oh, we did, we did. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. Okay. So
So
yeah, we
yeah,
were talking about your husband does music as well. Yeah.
yeah, he does, and he has his own independent label called Theta Boy ENT.
Mm.
So I'm one of his artists on his label. So he's been doing this since he was a child, and I'm still a baby in it, I guess, compared to him. But I'm sorry. What was the question? I lost what was the question?
No, no, we were just. Oh, I was asking if he's one of the producers that are
Okay.
that's making your beats and all that, or.
So no, we don't make our own beats yet. That is something that we want to start doing, is making our own beats. But right now we work with different artists. Any artist who is a producer, you're welcome to send beats. Theta Boy ENT CEO@gmail.com. You can send the beats too if you're an artist. I'm sorry, a producer. But yes, so we don't make our own beats as of yet. That is something that we're working on. But we do find beats from different producers and we use those.
Oh, nice, nice, nice. Um, you know, that's funny, like about the whole because I think like the music thing is probably one of the things that opened me up the most spiritually. So I think like probably the more you work on music, it'll like probably like tap you in more, you know? Like
Yeah,
so
because
that's
it's like all the lyrics and things, it's like coming from the ether. So it's like the more you tune into that, it's like you're tuning into, I believe you're tuning into your higher self. You're tapping into your creativity. And so, your creativity is like your God self. So yeah.
absolutely. You know, the last interview I just did, like, you know, he's a artist as well, right? Jay Clay, he does music. I think it was the last interview I just did. Oh no, no, I did another one. And then so the one before that. Um, you know, I met him in a spiritual community as well. And we were talking about that. Like, well, we actually just were working on a song. And yeah, I wasn't gonna mention it, but he mentioned it. So, or I don't know, we ended up talking about it, but it was like that. It was like it brought up the thing of like there's even been songs where it's like a song, for example, I write a song and then all of a sudden I hear it like 10 years later and it's the exact message I needed to hear at that moment. So like you said, your higher self, it's like if your higher self knew that 10 years from that moment, you were going to need to hear that song for what you were going through. So that to me, that's just like poof, mind blowing, right? So
Right.
yeah, yeah, it's definitely coming from like our higher selves or whoever is guiding us or, but yeah, I think like our higher self, definitely, definitely. So yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing because music is really, I feel like music is for the soul. Like whenever I was going through something, I would listen to music. Like when I was younger, I had insomnia. It was hard for me to sleep at night. And so I would put on my headphones and just listen to music. Like I like to listen to like R&B, 90s R&B music. I like music from the 90s.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was just, yeah. play that and just listen to that, until I fell asleep. So I don't know. I love music. It does something to me.
No, no, no. I see. I get happy talking about music. Like that's like, who are some of your favorite artists from the '90s, if you don't mind me asking?
I like the R&B groups. So like Jagged Edge.
Mm.
I like of course Escape.
Oh,
SWV. Aaliyah, of course.
oh yeah.
Just a lot of the R&B. Ashanti. Tyrese. Anything. Anybody, really, just as long as it sounds good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. SWV was really good. And yeah, I mean, I always like to, like, now, right, with YouTube, now you can see all the drama. Oh, what happened to so and so group, or what happened? You know what I mean? Like, now you could find out what happened, but back then it's like you didn't know. Like, there was a group that would be doing really good. They're like on top of the world, great songs left and right, and then poof, they disappear, and then now you could find out. But I remember SWV. That one, they were really good. They had a lot of great songs. So yeah, yeah. So yeah, yeah, okay. Well, I mean, let me see. So
So
where do you what?
who are your favorite artists? What would you say some of your favorite artists are?
Man, like, I listened to a lot of obviously hip hop, but it wasn't just hip hop. I was really open to a lot of different kinds of music, right? Like, here, you know who the Red Hot Chili Peppers are?
I've heard of them.
Yeah, yeah. Like, they had one of my favorite songs of all time was a song by the Red Hot Chili Peppers called Soul to Squeeze. And it was just like, the bass, the everything. Um, it was just amazing. A really slow song. And did you ever see that movie, The Coneheads? Or you remember the movie The Coneheads?
I remember that movie. I didn't watch that movie.
Okay, well, they're aliens and everything, but they even played that song in that movie. So it was funny. I was like, oh wow. But I like them, but I mean, hip hop wise, obviously Tupac was like, he was my favorite. The ones that inspired me to make music were Bone Thugs, right? Like, I heard,
Yeah.
that's when Walkmans were still around, the cassette players. And I remember we were walking this girl, like, a few miles to her aunt's work. And my friend was all in love with her, so he was like, and she had a Walkman. She let me hear it, and I put it on, and I put play, and it was Bone Thugs, and I was like, and that was it. I kept the Walkman the whole walk. I didn't even care. They were over here talking, and I was just listening to, like, what is? I
Yeah.
think it was like the first song that came out was like, "For the love of money," gotta make that. And I was like, what is it?
I love some Bone Thugs.
Yeah, and that was the moment I knew that's what I wanted to do. Like, it was like that moment. Well, let me tell you, like, recently, I actually, I went on IG. I'm hardly like on there unless I'm putting like, oh, check out the new podcast or something. And I guess they were doing this thing now where, oh, get a feature from, you know, like, they were different. I think even Rakim, Rakim, right? Like
Mhm.
Rakim, Bone Thugs. I think there was even, I don't know, it was Ghostface from the Wu-Tang or Raekwon, one of them. I forgot. But I saw Bone Thugs and I was like, well, man, they're the reason I didn't want to do it because they're like, oh, a feature, but it's like anyone that pays for that feature is gonna have that same verse, that same thing, right? It was like a, pre-recorded verse already or whatever. I don't know if you've
Mhm.
ever seen those things or
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so
It's like a competition or a contest.
no, no, it was just like, oh, you're gonna get the license, you're gonna get the right to use it, but
Okay. But the
maybe.
verse is already on there.
Yeah, yeah. Like, the other 1,000 people that are gonna pay for it are gonna be able to use it too. But I was like, and I looked it up, and there were already people that were using it. So I was like, ah. But a lot of
Mhm.
them, not to be mean or nothing, but there were a couple that were good, but some of them were like horrible, I was like, man, did you really pay to use this bone verse? And you just like, you rap like, it was like
Right.
crazy, crazy, like crazy, crazy. I'm like, why would you do that? So whatever. I was like, you know what? I think they only had so many days, and at the end, I was like, wow, they were the reasons I did music. Why not? It was just like a song with like Busy Bone and Lazy Bone on it, right? And so I was okay, I was like, I'm gonna do it, and then I did it. And the song actually, I didn't even share it with one person, and then I saw like on YouTube it was getting like plays, and I was like, oh, and people are liking it, so it felt good. I was like, that's like a little childhood dream kind of thing, you know what I mean, like a nostalgic thing. So I'm glad I did it now in hindsight, but I almost didn't because I was like, everyone's using the same verse, but I was like, well, man, how much would it have cost to like? It was like 100 and something, right? And then it was like to get them, it would have probably been downright tens of thousands just to be like, hey, do you want to do a verse on a song or, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. So, well, all that to say, like, I've never been someone to like, oh, let me pay this artist for a feature. You know what I mean? Because I was always around so many talented people. I was like, I'd rather rap with like, a friend that's trying to make it too, that's talented,
Mm.
than pay an artist that doesn't even care who I am. It's just gonna be like, all right, give me the money, give me the 20 grand to drop a little 16 bar verse. You know what I mean? I was like, I would have never done that, right? So I was like, well, it's not that much. And they're the reasons I did music. They're the reason I started doing music. So why not? And, I'm glad I did. It was just a little nostalgia thing. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah, 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 yeah. Well, I'll send it to you so you could check it out. It's just a little,
Like,
yeah, yeah. It's
you-
a bone, like with but I like it. I like it. It was cool. Um, well, let me ask you this. It says I brought that up. Is there any artist you would want to work with? Like any artist that you would be like, oh yeah, I'd love to do a song with them.
I'd love to work with T.I.,
Oh.
J. Cole. Let me see, Janae Aiko.
Oh,
She's
okay.
a soul
Yeah,
singer.
yeah, yeah.
Um, those are a few that comes to mind right now. Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully it'll happen now that you said it out loud. Hopefully it'll manifest. Yeah.
Words
Okay.
are powerful, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. You
About
know,
the belief.
and what's funny is like when I started writing music, I used to write. Like I remember writing a hook and I was like, oh, Busy Bone's gonna sing this hook. Or I'd write like, oh, so and so is gonna sing this. And so I used to write, I had huge dreams, when I was like in high school and I started writing songs and everything. So I used to dream that. So it's I guess in a way, maybe it did manifest, not exactly how I thought it was, but or maybe later it still might, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's always good. Words are definitely powerful. So um yeah, I know we went off into the whole music thing, but so yeah, any I guess going forward, how do you see yourself like going on down the spiritual path, I guess, or anything you're working on or
Just continuing to cultivate my mind.
Hmm.
Because the mind is very important. Our thoughts, they say thoughts create things, right? We live in a mental universe. You studied the seven hermetic principles, right? I think we talked about this last time.
I know we talked about it and I looked it up, but I can't remember right now. But I know I looked them up because you told me about them. But if you want to recap them, by all means,
Yeah.
because
So
yeah,
the seven hermetic principles. Hold on, I lost my train of thought.
no
I
worries.
do that a lot. I don't know why.
No, it's all
But
good. Your mind,
okay.
see, your mind's working, so it's all good.
We live in a mental universe. So one of the seven hermetic principles is the law of mentalism. So
Mm.
it basically says like the all is mind, the universe is mental, right? So we live in a basically a universe of consciousness, right? It's all consciousness. And so my focus is just to like raise my consciousness, become more aware of, I guess like more aware of the divine, more aware of, spirit and everything, everything is energy. So just being more aware of my connection with, I guess, the world around me and I guess other individuals, because we're all connected. And letting go of limiting beliefs, you know, thoughts of doubt, being a self critic, um, just anything that basically, I guess, thoughts that don't serve your higher purpose. Thoughts of, I can't do this, or, that won't happen, or this can never happen. Those types of thoughts, those are the things that, I work on getting rid of, because I believe that everything is possible. Everything is possible because we create our reality, right? So, if that's the truth, then I can have anything that I want in this life, in this lifetime. So, that's my focus, is really working on my mindset and letting go of the limiting beliefs, the thoughts or beliefs that keep us or keep me small, and knowing that I can do it. you
Absolutely.
know, um,
Now go ahead. I don't mean
but
to
yeah,
interrupt you.
that's the
Go.
main focus.
Oh. So is that
The mindset.
go ahead.
Go ahead. What you're gonna say?
Oh, is that like the first principle of the seven say it again?
The 7 hermetic
Yeah, the seven
principles.
hermetic that's the first ones, or
I don't know. It could be. I don't know them in order, but I know that's one of them is the law of mentalism.
mm,
The all is mind, the universe is mental.
wow. And the limiting beliefs is
So
that
another one is the law
oh, I was saying
limiting beliefs.
yeah.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, no, just is that so that's a separate one? The limiting beliefs is a separate one? It's like the
Oh no, no. I was just focused on. I was just talking about that one at
oh
that
wow.
time when I
Okay.
was talking about limiting. Yeah, because I guess just targeting in on the fact that we live in a mental universe, and so every day we're thinking thoughts, and sometimes our thoughts are not ones that will get us in alignment with our true desires, or we're oftentimes just speaking of from experience, thinking about lack, not having enough money, or not having enough money to do this. So I need, XYZ so I can make this happen. Trying not to dwell on, those types of thoughts, and just focus on thoughts that are more of a higher, consciousness, thoughts of, you know, I am everything, you know, I can do anything, uh, I am limitless, I am infinite, that type of thing. So that's like a daily, what's the word I'm looking for?
Like ritual kind of thing or
Yeah, daily ritual, a daily just
practice?
practice,
Mm.
to do that, mastering the mind.
Mm. Wow.
But some of the other emetic principles is the law of cause and effect. So, um, also known as the law of correspondence. So, what you give out, you get, you know. So, it's kind of like the law of attraction. You like attracts like. So, also you reap what you say, you reap what you sow. So what you put out is what you receive back.
Mm.
So there's
Wow.
a lot, more, but I can't think of them at the moment. So
No, no,
yeah.
that was great. That's really I like that, especially right now. It resonated with me a lot, and it's funny because that came up in my last interview. Like for some reason, we started talking about karma kind of things and this and that. But I think every culture has different words for it, right? But it's like
Mhm.
you know, wow, whatever the most ancient, maybe it came from Atlantis, right? Maybe they were teaching it since back then, and it just kept getting, everybody said it in their own way or whatever, right? Or whoever was before Atlantis, or wherever they came from before there, maybe it came from over there, right? Or all that stuff. So yeah, no, but I love that. I'm gonna actually look it up now and learn it more because I really like that. That's powerful. All that stuff you were saying about the hermetic principles, that's very powerful. So yeah, so I guess on that note, we could we could end it there. And definitely want to have, if you can send me all the links to your album and all that, I want to put it so people can go check it out. So I want to listen to it now as well. How many songs are on the album?
11 and a
Oh, okay.
bonus track.
Oh, nice, nice. Okay, okay. So I'm gonna check it out. I'm definitely gonna listen to it today. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, please keep us posted. Like anything else, like when you work on the next album, when you have that done, let me know. And we'll do another interview so people could know about it and go check it out and all that good stuff. So thank you so much for doing this recap. I mean, not recap. What is it called? I guess just catching up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, no, no, thank you so much. Yeah, I love knowing what's going on with anybody that I've talked to before, just to see where they're at on whether on the spiritual walk or just in general. So thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to say? Because I want to make sure you're able to say anything you want to say. I don't want to cut you off or anything.
Absolutely. Just thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, being able to be on your podcast. I enjoy our conversations with each other. And you awaken me to new ideas. I'm gonna go study when I get off of this too, and I'm revisit the 7 Hermetic principles myself, and dive more into different things that we discussed. And I would say that anybody can follow me on my social media. As far as the music is concerned, you can follow me at Queen Star _TBE on Instagram and Facebook. Also on YouTube as Queen Star. And also, as far as the spiritual knowledge is concerned and angel numbers, I'm on YouTube as Naila Ma'at, Amun Ra. And you can also find me on Facebook at Naila Ma'at as well. And, find all your angel number explanations and more about, cultivating your mind, your mindset, and creating more abundance in your life.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. And on that note, thank you to everybody that watched. Always, pleasure having you all watch and be a part of this journey, right? So thank you once again to Naila Ma'at for being here and to everybody that watched.
Thank you, Omari. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Life may move fast, or it may move slow. I met a silly man who said he make it slow. We look up out towards space, or even at the sky. One day pass away, but never look inside. Breathe in, breathe out. Life is a maze, but we'll figure this out. I mean, human beings, I ain't got no doubt. Yo, we so crazy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sometimes you just feeling it, you know what I'm saying? You just feeling it. And I want to feel this way forever.